Today we are going to talk about a test match which has a different place in the history of Indian cricket. India were touring England in 2021 and they had the second test match at Lord's. India were batting first and in their first innings, India were able to post a total of 364 on the scoreboard, largely due to the contribution of the opening pair between Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul. Rohit Sharma ended up scoring 83 while KL Rahul scored a brilliant century, 129. But England duly responded with 391. That was largely on the back of a century, an unbeaten century by Joe Root. He scored an unbeaten 180, and in that phase of English cricket, it was only Joe Root who used to shoulder the responsibility of scoring runs. He somehow didn't find any support from the rest of the batters in the batting lineup. And at the end of day 2, there was an altercation between Jasprit Bumrah and James Anderson over something. But at the end of day 4, in India's second innings was struggling when they were 175 for 6, though Rishabh Pant was still there. But given the kind of lead that they had, a lead of 147 with only 4 wickets to go, India was struggling, and nobody could see India saving that test match. And to worsen the matters, Rishabh Pant's wicket was lost quite early on the morning of day 5, which meant that there was no respite for the Indian batters. But then something very, very miraculous happened, in a way that first Jasprit Bumrah and Josh Butler had an altercation, and then there was something that fueled Jasprit Bumrah after that altercation, and then we saw the aggression from the Indian tailenders. Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Shami were all going at the English bowlers, and English bowlers were put under some undue pressure, uncalled for pressure, which they couldn't handle. They seemed to have no answers to the questions that the Indian batting lineup posed. And those two tailenders, Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah, were going all guns blazing. In the end, Mohammad Shami scored an unbeaten half century, while Jasprit Bumrah had a respectable 34 to his name. And from a position of being struggling at one point, India were now in a position to declare. India declared the innings at 298 for 8. And from then, when they were going onto the field, just before that, in the team huddle, Virat Kohli had some words to say, which will be etched in the history of Indian cricket forever. He said, for the next 60 overs, they should feel like hell out there. And that is exactly what the English batting lineup felt out there. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj was teaming in relentlessly. There was no respite for the English batting lineup. Nobody could withstand the kind of pressure that these three were creating, and in the end they were folded for 120 in just 1.5 sessions. That meant that India registered a famous victory, and a victory for the ages.